Experienced local motorcycle injury law firm to protect your rights. You can trust them on the road and in the courtroom. Get a free case evaluation at steelhorselaw.com.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good afternoon. It is 12 o'clock on this Monday, September 15th. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news here at noon is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. We have a lot going on, so let's get right to it. We are following a breaking story this noon. A man has been shot outside of Kroger in Atlanta. This happened at the Kroger located at 2685 Metropolitan Parkway. We do have calls out to Atlanta police as we speak. No word on the man's condition or if the shooter is in custody or not. We'll bring you more on this breaking story as we get it. Your weather this afternoon, partly cloudy, hot and dry, highs around 87. Will we have any rain in the forecast? Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast comes your way at 12:05. This just in here at noon, a Grady Hospital nurse accused of sexually assaulting an elderly patient has his case bound over for trial in Fulton County Superior Court. Chapel Lee facing 6 charges, including rape, aggravated sodomy, and evidence tampering. An Atlanta police detective testifying that body cam video shows Eva Lay describing a painful assault in October of 2024 and saying Lee then cleaned up the evidence before he left her room. The defense pointing out that police failed to investigate any other male nurses on the floor. WSB's Veronica Waters covering that trial for us. A street takeover in Brookhaven and arrests have been made.
Out the window. I was not part of this, sir. Turn the car off.
Brookhaven police saying more than 40 cars involved in the incident. It happened on August 31st. Today, they've released video that shows cars blocking Ashford-Dunwoody Road, burning rubber. Police say they are working to track down everyone responsible, and they warn more arrests are coming. The police department has now released the video, and they're saying this in a warning. Quote, play in our city and you go to jail. Also in Brookhaven, police have now identified the woman that they're looking for in connection to package thefts from mail rooms at apartment complexes. Lieutenant Anthony Patron with Brookhaven Police tells us that they have an arrest warrant now for Amanda Noble.
We have received many leads as to her identity, but her location, we have not received any updated information at this time.
Police are also looking for a second suspect believed to be working with her. Noble accused of stealing nearly 100 packages at one apartment building alone. Police say she may be responsible for similar crimes in surrounding areas. She was last seen in a white transit-style van, possibly a 2017 model. Anybody with information being asked to call Crime Stoppers. Workers are back at work in person at CDC headquarters here in Atlanta today for the first time since last month's attack that killed a police officer.
The CDC employees were initially told to work remotely following the shooting, then given the option to return voluntarily. But the latest email from the CDC's Chief Operations Officer, Linda Chapman, set today as the deadline for workers to return to regular on-site operations. The CDC says there's enhanced security. Repairs are still ongoing since the attack, in which a gunman sprayed several buildings with hundreds of bullets. DeKalb County Police Officer David Rose was shot and killed. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Update this noon on the man accused of gunning down Charlie Kirk. He's said to be refusing to cooperate with authorities. Morgan Chesky reporting that's the word from Utah Governor Spencer Cox.
The governor revealing investigators have interviewed family members and those familiar with the suspect, including his roommate, a male transitioning to a female, who they believe is the 22-year-old's romantic partner.
And new details emerging this noon about the investigation. FBI Director Kash Patel says the suspect, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, sent someone a text message saying he had the opportunity to, quote, take out Kirk and was going to do it because he hated what Kirk stood for. Now, when asked why the person who received that text message didn't say anything, Patel replied, the investigation's ongoing. President Trump expected to attend a memorial service for Kirk on Sunday in Arizona. We have an update on that raid at a Hyundai plant here in Georgia. South Korea now planning to investigate whether its workers suffered any human rights violations during the raid. It comes after about 475 people, including more than 300 South Koreans, were detained in that September 4th raid at the plant near Savannah. New at noon, a school in Marietta is getting a multi-million-dollar facelift.
With voices raised in song, students at Sawyer Road Elementary in Marietta celebrate the completion of the overhaul of the school building. Superintendent Dr. Grant Rivera says it feels like a new school.
This is about a renovation that not only honors the 2 decades prior, but it also sets the school up for generations to come.
Rivera says workers put down new flooring, repainted walls, and installed new furniture. The cost of the renovation was more than $7 million. In Marietta, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Also new here at 12 o'clock, University of Georgia researchers say that those who smoke may have a higher risk of developing diabetes. The study finds that vaping shows a 7% increased risk of prediabetes. Smoking traditional cigarettes and cigars raises that risk to 15%. And for those who vape and smoke, the risk rises to 28%. Now your money. Gas prices down just a little bit here in the metro area. We're paying an average of $2.89 a gallon for regular unleaded. That's 2 cents less than a week ago. According to AAA, it costs drivers an average of just over $43 to fill up a 15-gallon tank. Georgians paying almost $2 less to fill up at the pump than we were a year ago. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow is down 8 at 45,826. NASDAQ and S&P are currently in positive territory. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams has a look at your roads.
If the lunch hour finds you heading through Midtown and downtown, you're going to see a few brake lights, 75-85 southbound from 17th Street as you travel past North Avenue. Once you get past North Avenue, there is a few cars off to the right, but luckily no lanes blocked there. North side perimeter still tracking some brake lights, 285 westbound, the outer loop leaving Riverside Drive over to I-75 where we had earlier trouble. And don't forget, you got paving up in Peachtree Corners. It's on Peachtree Industrial Boulevard. That's Highway 141 near Holcomb Bridge Road. Left lane blocked in both directions there. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The 5-day forecast sponsored by Shoemate, the official air conditioning of Atlanta.
A mix of sun and clouds today, trending above average with a high of 87, lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with an isolated pop-up shower or thunderstorm possible, high 86. Wednesday, a mix of sun and clouds, high 87. Staying dry for Thursday and Friday with highs in the upper 80s to low 90s.
We'll have more news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Okay, friends, 5K Day bonus blitz. Your noon keyword is time. T-I-M-E, time. Enter the keyword time into the WSB Radio app or online at WSBRadio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword, win $1,000. Keyword is time. T-I-M-E. Good luck.
Eric Erickson here. I hope you had a weekend to decompress. There is news in the investigation of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I will get to that at the bottom of this hour, but I actually want to start this hour with some of the other news that we haven't been able to talk about, and there was some over the weekend as well, 2 stories in particular that stand out. And to get to the first story, I got to read for you a text message that I got from my niece. My niece is a nurse at a hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. If you are not aware, the president is sending National Guard troops to Memphis, Tennessee. The local, so you've got a mayor of the county, you got a mayor of the city. The mayor of the county demanding money and is outraged. The mayor of the city quietly resigned to accept the National Guard. The governor of the state welcoming the National Guard. I've actually got listeners in Memphis beyond my family, and many of them live outside of the urban core of Memphis. They don't venture in. Some of them didn't realize the extent to which it's gotten bad, but most of them really want you to know it's actually far worse than what you're told in the media. So I want to read for you this text message from my niece. In light of the National Guard coming to Memphis, I was wondering if you could put in a word for me with the president to have them come to the hospital parking garages because our tires are being stolen overnight. When we come out in the morning, our cars are on cement blocks. Makes it very hard to go home from work. You got that? This is my niece. She's a nurse in Memphis at one of the hospitals. And she says it's not just her hospital. At multiple hospitals, the overnight shift, she's a labor and delivery nurse. And she works night shifts. And the nurses come out in the morning, and their cars are on cinder blocks, and the tires are stolen. Says it's been happening a lot. That's one of the many crimes happening in Memphis, Tennessee. This is a resident of Memphis on the news.
And, you know, it's just so dangerous that you can't get out of your car. You can't go to the grocery store. You can't go to the market or the service station. So, yeah, I want to see the crime stop. And if the National Guard is going to stop the crime, bring them out.
there's left-wing outrage about the National Guard going to Memphis, just as there was outrage in Washington, D.C. By the way, we know as the Washington, D.C. operation winds down that murder, robbery, and carjackings are all significantly off in Washington, D.C. They like to tell you that crime was down in Washington, D.C. It's down so dramatically now that when the National Guard goes away and the police force is taken back over by the city and you see the spike, it'll be obvious that the crackdown by Trump worked. And now in Memphis, you got residents there, black, white, Hispanic, doesn't matter. They're like, send in the National Guard. There was a shooting on Beale Street the other day. It's the tourist hub in Memphis, Tennessee. It's not a safe city. In fact, the news media spin it, the national media, in fact, this was on CNN the other day, talking about how murders are at a 6-year low in Memphis, Tennessee. And I need you to hear me say this. When you hear the media tell you murder is at a 6-year low in Memphis, Tennessee, what they leave out is it is still one of the top 3 cities in America for murder. That's how many murders there are in Memphis, Tennessee. You can be at a 6-year low and still be in the top 6 or top 3 cities for murder in the United States. Robberies, carjackings, home break-ins, rape, violence, all over Memphis. They have a massive gang problem in Memphis. The president sending the National Guard. This is exactly what I said 2 weeks ago the president should do. Send the National Guard into red states, in crime-infested cities in those states, and show to the blue states, show to Chicago, show to L.A., show to San Francisco, show to New York, that in red states we take crime seriously and we're working to lower the crime. And see the difference. I mean, this is a resident, a black lady in Memphis who probably did not vote for Donald Trump, said if the National Guard is going to come take care of the crime, let the National Guard come in. It's a local issue. I am baffled by the people who are opposed to this, particularly in Memphis. It's a big deal and good for the president doing it. The people of Memphis will thank him. And by the way, I was able to get my niece's text message to Stephen Miller at the White House so that they realize the extent of the problem. Nurses having their tires stolen overnight is just one of many problems in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, there's another issue as well happening, and this one is a super smart policy change by the Trump administration relating to Russia and Ukraine. This is the president himself a short time ago.
Well, they're not doing the job. NATO has to get together. Europe has to get together and do it. Look, Europe they're my friends, but they're buying oil from Russia. So we can't be expected to be the only ones that are, full bore. But Europe is buying oil from Russia. I don't want them to buy oil. And the sanctions that they're putting on are not tough enough. And I'm willing to do sanctions, but they're going to have to toughen up their sanctions commensurate with what I'm doing.
But just to clarify, you wouldn't move ahead until NATO moves ahead.
Well, I'm ready to move ahead, but they have to do it. I think they will. But right now they're talking and they're not doing it. Look, they're buying oil from Russia. We're not buying oil from Russia. They're buying a lot of oil from Russia. That's not the deal.
The Europeans are buying more energy products from Russia than they're giving money to Ukraine for weapons. The Europeans are putting more money into the Russian economy to go to Russia's war than the Europeans are putting into Ukraine. I got to tell you, you want to really stop the Russians, you need to stop the Russians. And the way you stop the Russians is to stop sending the Russians money to prop up their economy and get around the sanctions. So what Donald Trump is saying to the Europeans is, if you'll stop buying Russian oil, I will go to the mats for Europe. And I appreciate that tremendously, that this is smart public policy by the Trump administration to push forward with this agenda. Because, they can buy oil from us, and not only does that help our economy, and we've got plenty of ships that are available to fill up with oil and go over there, and natural gas as well, by the way, but they'll be sending money into our economy. It's good, and it doesn't have to be from us, by the way. It doesn't have to be from us. There are plenty of others that the Europeans can buy their energy products from other than the Russians. There are plenty of them. And they won't be propping up the Russian oil economy. They won't be propping up Russian energy. They won't be propping up Vladimir Putin's regime. In fact, they'll be stabilizing the Russian economy. The Russians have moved into a war economy. There are actually economic incentives for Russia to not end the war now, given how Russia has repositioned its entire economy to fight this war in Ukraine. If you want to bring about the collapse of that economy so that they do have to give up the war in Ukraine, you got to stop buying energy products from them. Once you stop buying energy products from the Russians, the Russian economic expanse begins to wind down, and in so doing, the Russians have every economic incentive to try to figure out a way out of the war. Right now, they're making money off the Europeans. The president's showing actual real leadership here. Real leadership, something that Joe Biden, by the way, could have done. But Joe Biden was so interested in the Green New Deal and being held hostage by the environmental movement, Joe Biden couldn't do this. Joe Biden would not have been in a position to say, wait a second, can't do this. Wait a second, why aren't we sending them our natural gas? Remember, Joe Biden shut down natural gas export facilities in the United States. Did you remember that? Joe Biden shut down natural gas export facilities in the United States to disincentivize the American economy from being able to rapidly ship natural gas to Europe to offset the Russian natural gas. Joe Biden did that. I know those of you who are progressives don't know that this happened because you didn't hear about it in the press, but I assure you it happened, and you can go Google it. I'm not your Google. You can do it yourself. Between that and what's happening in Memphis, the president is showing a lot of maturity in the foreign policy of the United States and the domestic policy. I can quibble with tariffs and stuff right now. There's no reason to do that right now. These are the two big stories of the day that kind of flew under the radar over the weekend while everyone was focused on Charlie Kirk. There's a third one that is circulating on the United States reaching a deal with China on TikTok. We'll get to that in a little bit. This is my one concern, however, in American foreign policy is that we've actually been negotiating with the president of China. I want you to think about that for a minute. We're told that TikTok is an independent company not controlled by the Chinese communists. If that's the case, why are we negotiating with the president of China on TikTok? Why? If it's an independent company not controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, why are we negotiating with the Chinese president? And based on what we know from the assassination of Charlie Kirk, TikTok seems to have been a cesspool that the assassin went down. We should be shutting that platform down. So I got some concerns there. But on the broader issue, we're getting stuff from Donald Trump that is common sense. And if anything, like Scott Jennings was telling me, he's got a book coming out on Donald Trump, and it's about the common sense revolution. It's not conservative. It's not really Republican per se. It's just common sense. It's common sense that if you want to hurt the Russians, you got to stop buying massive amounts of oil from the Russians. You got to stop. It's common sense. If you want to stop crime, you got to send in police. And if the police are overwhelmed, send in the National Guard to supplement the police and watch crime go down. We're seeing crime go down in Washington, D.C. How many of you, by the way, and many of you no longer listen to the mainstream media, I realize that. But for those of you who do, how many of you have heard that crime has actually fallen measurably in Washington, D.C.? Hasn't been eliminated. No one said it would be. But murders are down, carjackings are down, home break-ins are down, robberies are down, shoplifting is down. How many of you have heard this? How many of you have heard this from the national press? I bet very few of you, if you're regular consumers of the national press, have heard it, except it's true. It's true. People in Washington feel safe again. You interview residents in the black parts of Washington, D.C., not the upper-income white parts. The poorer black neighborhoods in Washington, they feel safe. There have been less drive-by shootings. There have been less gang violence. There have been less murders. There have been less home break-ins. Been less carjackings. Had a measurable positive impact, and you haven't heard about it in the national press, have you? God forbid Donald Trump get credit for anything. I suspect the same is going to happen in Memphis, and what's so notable is how they've moved on now from the talking point that he's only targeting black cities. He's actually targeting red states now. Blue cities and red states. Who cares that the mayor is black? You know, the local mayor in Memphis is not outraged. The local mayor in Memphis has resigned himself to the fact there's really nothing that he can do. He can't. These are major public policy wins for the president of the United States, and in fact, we haven't even yet gotten to the stage of going to Memphis and cleaning it up. Just the advanced anticipation of it, and the residents in Memphis are cheering. Show what Republican policies can do to clean up these crime-infested neighborhoods in red states, and that will signal to the poor, the non-white residents in blue cities, in blue states, that you know what, if you vote Republican, you can get your cities back too.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1220 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still watching that volume through Midtown and downtown with 75-85 southbound hitting the brakes right around 17th Street as you head down toward North Avenue. Coming out of Stone Mountain, you have right lane construction, Highway 78 westbound approaching Mountain Industrial Boulevard, exit number 4. And then in Gwinnett County, Peachtree Corners, they're doing paving on Highway 141 Peachtree Industrial Boulevard near Holcomb Bridge Road. A left lane is blocked in both directions there. Traffic brought to you by True Natural Gas. Bigfoot probably isn't true. He certainly isn't local. To see something both local and true, visit TrueNaturalGas.com. They're a local company with honest pricing and truly low rates. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Okay, friends, 5K Day bonus blitz. Your noon keyword is time. T-I-M-E, time. Enter the keyword time into the WSB Radio app or online at WSBRadio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword, win $1,000. Keyword is time. T-I-M-E. Good luck.
Y'all, it's Eric. Windows 10 is sunsetting. End of support on October 14th of this year. It's also my anniversary. No end of support for my marriage, just end of support for your computer if you're on Windows 10. You got to update. Now, what does that mean, end of support? It means Microsoft is going to stop issuing security patches for your computer if you're on Windows 10. So you actually do need to update for your own good and safety, and Vision Computers can help you transfer to Windows 11. How do you do it? You call them at 404-COMPUTE and say, Eric sent you, I need some help. They can get you upgraded to Windows 11. It is for your own good and safety and that of your company that you move to Windows 11 because of the security updates, if nothing else. So call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. Tell them Eric sent you. You might be able to save some money. You got to get it done before October 14th. Because you're not going to get security patches from Microsoft after that for Windows 10. Let Vision Computer take care of you. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
If you're seeing cracks in the walls upstairs, downstairs, or outside, maybe even a door not closing, call the Foundation Repair Specialist. Hi, it's Mark Beckham here with Atlanta Ramjack, and we are your leading foundation repair experts. Set up your free estimate right now at atlantaramjack.com.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers if you think you have a problem. We all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response, they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now, while you still have options.
If you own a Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, or any European import, come see us at Rocco's European Garage. Better value than the dealership, upfront and clear pricing with customer approval prior to us beginning, and a 3-day appointment window to get you back on the road quicker. Rocco's European Garage.
This is Greg Trzynski from the Original Mattress Factory. I want to share the story of a couple I worked with recently. After receiving a quote from a competitor for a mattress, they visited OMF and found a mattress that was a great fit for them. They were so pleased with our quality and value that they ended up purchasing 2 mattresses, a box spring, headboard, and frame. Their total at OMF was roughly $400 less than what they would have spent on just the one mattress at the competitor. If you're ready to get better sleep for less, visit us at originalmattress.com.
Skip the hassles of a traditional home sale and sell your home quickly with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. Selling your home is one of the biggest decisions you'll make, so who you work with matters. My friends at Mark Spain Real Estate are the most experienced real estate team in the U.S., and you can trust them to sell your home fast and for maximum profit. Find out what your guaranteed cash offer would be. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Just joined us? No worries. Check out the Eric Erickson Show 24/7 stream at ericerickson.com. Available for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The phone number here is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be happy to have you. Do not forget to text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777 if you'd like to get the show notes, the live stream, the podcast, the social media links. All of that is available with that link. You will get the show notes here as soon as we can get it to you. It has the website crashed, so we're working to get you today's show notes because we got lots of good stuff in there, including the nuns who have fled. This is actually kind of an awesome story. I sent it to Philip and said, I'm going to talk about the story. Get it in the show notes. Have you heard about these 3 Austrian nuns in their 80s? Have run away from their retirement home and gone back to their convent. Sister Bernadette is 88. Sister Regina is 86. Sister Rita is 82. They're the last 3 nuns at the Cloister Goldenstein Convent in Elsbethen, just outside Salzburg. They regained access to their convent with the help of former students and a locksmith. Church authorities are not exactly happy. The Vatican had moved them into a retirement home, and they broke out of the retirement home. And they've taken back the convent. God bless them. In 2022, the building was taken over by the Archdiocese of Salzburg and the Reicherberg Abbey, an Augustinian monastery. Provost Marcus Grosel became the abbey, became the nun superior. They decided to dissolve them and send them to a nursing home, given their health and mental capacity, and the nuns were having none of it. So they sneaked out of the nursing home, hitched a ride to the convent, and took it back over. They broke in, took it back over, and local residents heard what was happening and got the water going again and the power going again. God bless them. That's fantastic. That's the sort of news we need today. When we come back, the latest on the investigation into the assassination of Charlie Kirk, there are some serious new details. First, I got to tell you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. You can get 3 of them and save $200. You get them for less than $200. Came in real handy for me this weekend. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm wipes out odors, all odors. No odor can stand up to it. Had to use it this weekend to get some bad odor out of the house. It gets rid of pollen and dust and pet dinner because it's an air purifier. So it gets rid of all the particles of the air. It also generates plasma, which kills 99.9% of the bacteria and viruses that flow through it. But it's an odor eliminator, and it really shines as an odor eliminator. It's small, it's very portable, hold it in your hand. You get 3 of them. Go to EdenPureDeals.com. That's the website, EdenPureDeals.com. You put in the discount code ERIC3, ERICK3. You'll see discount code box right on the front page of the website, EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3. You'll get 3 of them. You'll save $200. You'll get 3 of them for less than $200. Plug it in with a USB cord, plug it into the wall, and they just work to wipe out odors. EdenPureDeals.com. Discount code ERIC3.
Hey, I'm Chris Chandler. When you join us Tuesday, starting at 5 a.m. for Atlanta's Morning News, breaking stories from overnight and our exclusive 5-day forecast, plus what Clark Howard wants Amazon Prime credit card members to know on WSB.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. Updating a breaking story. Forest Park police arrest a suspect in an armored truck robbery and shooting outside a Kroger on Metropolitan Highway in southwest Atlanta. Officers in Forest Park were alerted to a stolen vehicle report on Frontage Road, and they were able to locate and stop the car. Police tell WSB News that they have arrested the driver, Clinton Mayers. A black duffel bag inside the car contained cash and a 9mm handgun. Atlanta Police, Forest Park Police, and FBI Atlanta are all working together to piece details of both incidents to see how they are linked. Partly cloudy, hot and dry today with a high of 87. And we've been dry for a while here in Metro Atlanta with very little rain since the middle of August.
So a rapid onset drought or flash drought is now developing throughout North Georgia. If we don't receive any rain in the next 2 weeks, we could see worsening drought conditions all throughout Metro Atlanta.
WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says because they can develop so quickly, flash droughts are particularly dangerous for agriculture, our ecosystem, and water management, leaving little time to prepare or respond. Update on the search for a woman wanted in connection to package theft from mail rooms at apartment buildings in Brookhaven. An arrest warrant's now been issued for Amanda Noble, and police say they're also looking for a second suspect believed to be working with her. She's accused of stealing nearly 100 packages at one apartment building alone. Police say she may be responsible for similar crimes in surrounding areas. She was last seen in a white transit-style van, possibly a 2017 model. Anybody with information being asked to call Crime Stoppers. South Korea says it's planning to investigate whether its workers suffered any human rights violations during a raid at a Hyundai plant in South Georgia. About 475 people, including more than 300 South Koreans, were detained in that September 4th raid at the plant near Savannah. As we take a look at the markets, we're in the green right now. The Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P all in positive territory. It's 12:32.
You know the saying, age before beauty? Well, many Atlanta homes built in the 80s and 90s are really showing their age and not so much beauty. Roofs are leaking, windows are drafty, paint is peeling everywhere, and that front door, well, might as well say Y2K, here we come. So many projects, and that means hiring a bunch of contractors, right? Wrong. Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. When you bundle several projects with Exovations, you can save time, money, and coordinate everything all at once for a truly stress-free experience. From the roof shingle at the top to the last drop of paint on the bottom, Exovations does it all. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, decks, gutters, and more. And with Exovations, you know we'll do your project on time, on budget, and without all that stress you usually hear about in construction. Schedule your free consultation today at exovations.com and bring your home into this millennium.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Just search FGA Roofing to get started with a free quote today.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Watching some brake lights through Midtown and downtown right now. 75-85 southbound, slowing from 17th Street down toward North Avenue. Don't forget, coming out of Stone Mountain, you have right lane construction. Highway 78 westbound before Mountain Industrial Boulevard, exit 4. Stay in those left lanes. And then up in Gwinnett County, we have paving. It's on Peachtree Industrial Boulevard. That's Highway 141 in both directions right at Holcomb Bridge Road. They got a left lane blocked each way there with that paving operation. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy skies today, staying warm with a high of 87.
More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number is 877-973-7425. I wanted to put off conversations about Charlie Kirk and the fallout from his assassination from the top of the show, because there is other news, and we'll get into more news as well. But I also want to spend some time in the second hour on what the response needs to be to the left, because they've spent multiple days now trying to write a narrative that it wasn't a member of the left who assassinated Kirk, and now they're upset. The big story is not that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, but people are losing their jobs for cheering on the assassination. And, isn't this cancel culture? No, I don't actually think it's cancel culture. I think there are two things in our society we should all, as Americans, agree on. Nazis are bad, and political assassinations of fellow Americans for their views is bad. And what the left tries to do is expand the definition of the former to get around the rule on the latter, that anyone they dislike is a Nazi, therefore the rule on political assassinations doesn't apply. We'll get to that, but I want to bring you the latest on the investigation, because there are a number of things that we now know. One of the things we know is that the assassin was in a relationship, it appears, in a gay relationship with a man who is transitioning. That's now been reported by a number of outlets, and now the FBI itself says that there is plenty of evidence of it, and that the transitioning partner is cooperating with the FBI. There is growing speculation, led, frankly, by Kash Patel himself on television over the weekend, that there were a number of social media group chats, among other things, that suggest advanced knowledge of the attack and possible coordination. The FBI is taking it very seriously. There are a number of social media group chats that, as early as September 3rd, were warning something would happen to Charlie Kirk on September 10th. There seemed to be people who had advanced knowledge that something was being planned to cause harm to Charlie Kirk. A number of those social media accounts and Discord channels were deleted shortly after the attack. On the day of the attack, they were deleted. The FBI is able to pull a lot of that stuff up and look. They're looking into it. It does appear that the assassin, he may have acted alone on the day, but may have had help in planning or thinking about how to carry out the attack. We now know that the DNA from the gun and from the towel that the gun was wrapped in match Robinson's DNA. We also know the left, since last week, has been trying to claim that this guy was a groyper. Now, you need to understand what the groypers are. If you're a normal, ordinary American, you probably have no idea what a groyper is. The Groypers it's a term for white nationalists led by Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is a little white nationalist, neo-Nazi type on the far right. He is a Trump supporter. He don't say he's on the left. Remember, Nick Fuentes is the guy who dined with Donald Trump with Kanye West. And they call themselves Groypers. There is a major push by the progressive left to claim that this Nick Fuentes movement of Groypers assassinated Charlie Kirk. I don't know if any of you watched Bill Maher on Friday. Ben Shapiro was on with Bill Maher and said that when Bill Maher suggested it could have been a Groyper, Ben Shapiro says that the Groypers wouldn't have said that Charlie Kirk needed to be, that Charlie Kirk was spreading hate. They would have said he wasn't spreading enough hate. Tyler Robinson, the assassin, told his family that Charlie Kirk needed to be stopped because he was spreading hate. That's not something the Groypers would do. Listen, here's the thing. It's been obvious to any normal-thinking American that Charlie Kirk was assassinated by someone on the left. The only people it hasn't been obvious to are people on the left. We'll get to the reasons why in the next half hour. But what then happened is that people on the left began circulating an FCC donation. The FEC, or not FCC, FEC, the Federal Elections Commission, if you give $200 or more to a federal candidate, you have to be listed on a form. You got to be listed, and the form is filed with the federal government on a quarterly basis during campaign seasons and on a semi-annual basis in non-campaign seasons. So this is an odd-numbered year, so FEC donations for candidates are filed every 6 months. Next year will be an election year for members of the U.S. House, so House members will have to file a report every 3 months showing how much money they raised, how much money they spent, and anything that came in. I think it's $200. It might be $100. I can't remember now, but any money that under $100, completely anonymous donations you can make in cash. Any donation $100 or more, it's got to be by check or credit card, can't be by cash. And it's got to be, you got to know the person's name, where they're from, who they work for, and what their job is. It's got to be filed with the Federal Election Commission, and there's a database you can go search. Well, someone searched for the name Tyler Robinson, and in the year 2020 found a $250 donation to Donald Trump from Tyler Robinson in St. George, Utah. And people on the left immediately spotted, he's a Trump donor, he's a Groyper, he's a Trump donor, supported him in 2020. That's not actually true. First of all, the guy was from Washington, Utah, and lived in Washington, Utah in 2020. And also, if you look in St. George, Utah in 2020, there are multiple numbers, multiple people named Tyler Robinson. There wasn't just one Tyler Robinson in St. George, Utah, but it's also the wrong town for 2020. The guy, Tyler Robinson, did move, apparently, to St. George, Utah, but not until after 2020. But it didn't matter. Building the narrative was as super, super, super important. The person who assassinated Charlie Kirk is of the left. The governor of Utah, Governor Cox, gave a quote to the Wall Street Journal, over the weekend, and said that it is clear from the investigators and their conversations with his family that he was radicalized online by the left, by progressive ideology. The Daily Beast is a left-wing news site that ran a headline, Robinson grandmother says the family is all MAGA. Members of the left circulated the headline to claim, see, there's no way this guy was on the left. When you actually read the article, the grandmother says she never actually talked to her grandson about his political views. The family is on the right. They're gun-owning Mormon family in Utah. They love the Lord and Donald Trump, and they're big supporters of the right, except for their son. And they say he became increasingly of the left. What was so funny is that one news outlet I forget which. I think it was an ABC outlet. Don't hold me to that, but I think it was an ABC outlet interviewed the next door neighbor. And the next door neighbor said that Robbins is in a gay relationship. And that, how do you know that? And his response was, well, how often do you see two men holding hands and kissing if they're not gay? The media was outraged. Now, subsequently to this, two Muslims, and we don't know that there was it could have just been them. They're now looking into this. Two individuals with, I shouldn't say Muslims, but Islamic names, left an improvised explosive device under a Fox TV news van in Utah. What's interesting to me is how they're leaving out now the names of the individuals. So let me read you this. This is Brian Stelter posted 2 hours ago. Two suspects are in custody after an incendiary device was found under a vehicle belonging to KSTU, a local TV station known as Fox 13 News, Utah. The incendiary device had been lit but failed to function as designed. The device was discovered in Salt Lake City on Friday, 2 days after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. KUTV reported the two suspects were arrested after FBI agents and local bomb squads converged on a home in Magna, Utah. Additional explosives, along with firearms, illegal narcotics, and other paraphernalia were found in the home. Now, I find it very interesting because this is Fox 13 Salt Lake City. Let me read you this. Two men have been arrested after allegedly leaving an incendiary device underneath a Fox 13 news vehicle and then forcing an evacuation of a Magna neighborhood when the FBI served an overnight search warrant of their home. The men, Adib Nasir, 58, and Adil Justice Ahmed Nasser, 31, were booked into jail and face multiple charges, including threat of terrorism, possessing weapons of mass destruction, and possessing explosive devices. The device underneath the Fox 13 News vehicle was originally located on Friday and determined to be real. According to officials, the device had been lit but failed to function. The men were located at the home and during the search told investigators that two hoax weapons of mass destruction that officials discovered were real, the arrest report stated. Because of the devices, the home was evacuated. Now, I want you to note this, and this goes into the lack of trust between left and right these days. The local news station is reporting the names of the two individuals. The men, Adib Nasir, age 58, and Adil Justice Ahmed Nasir, age 31. Neither the CNN report from Brian Stelter or the ABC News National report mention the men's names. Why do you think that is? Why do you think local media was willing to report the names and the national media wasn't? My suspicion is that they're Islamic names. They're Arabic names. They're not white bread Mormon names from Utah. And I find it interesting that CNN could 2 hours ago post this story well after the names of the individuals were known and not list the names. I just find it very interesting. Because, I mean, this is Brian Stelter. Two suspects are in custody after an incendiary device was found. The incendiary device had been lit and failed to function. The device was discovered in Salt Lake. The two suspects were arrested after FBI agents and the bomb squads converged on a home in Magna, Utah. Additional explosives were found in the home. And yet there's no mention of the names. None. ABC News did the same thing. I don't think it's a coincidence. I do not think it is a coincidence that they didn't mention it. I will say regarding ABC News, they are pushing a story now that FBI agents are telling them that Tyler Robinson appears to have been obsessed with Charlie Kirk. I'm curious to see how they handle a story like that. Do they try to suggest that the individual, it was just a crazy coincidence, that it was something other than politics, it was just an unhealthy obsession? Because what we're learning thus far is that Tyler Robinson had become increasingly radicalized online by the left and was in this relationship with someone who was transitioning and hated Charlie Kirk because he said Charlie Kirk was spreading hate. I suspect what we're going to see is a lot of the American press corps try now to push a story that this was just a deeply unwell stalker as opposed to someone who is motivated by politics, because we can't have anyone on the left be held accountable for their left-wing views moving to violence, because as we all know, the media very much insists only people on the right do that. By the end of this week, they're going to have rewritten the story that it was going to be Charlie Kirk's gay obsessed stalker, and that's all it was a gay stalker who was obsessed with Charlie Kirk, as opposed to the political angle. You can see it coming right now.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1250 Cool Day Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. A few brake lights with the work zone on the south side, 285 eastbound. It's rolling construction in the left lane, passing Jonesboro Road, exit 55, so you're tapping the brakes there. Elsewhere, also seeing some volume still in the Midtown, 7585 southbound, 17th Street down toward William Street. And on 285 West, the outer loop, the north side. No crashes in the way, just the car in front of you, 285 West out of Sandy Springs, trying to get on I-75 north in Cobb. Traffic brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. Now you can win big with Powerball drawings every Wednesday, Saturday, and now Mondays. Play the new third Powerball drawing today. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It pays to have the WSB radio app. Download it today and get ready for the Blitz.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000.
I just won $1,000 from WSB.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2
I am
p.m.
so excited.
From 95.5 WSB.
Download the WSB radio app now.
Septic systems are not a do-it-yourself project. You need an expert. Hi, I'm Shannon, owner of Scorpion Septic. We're Dave Baker's septic experts on the Home Fix-It Show. My licensed and insured team specialize in solving your septic problems on the spot.
Take the sting out of septic service with Scorpion Septic, where there is never a pump-out charge with your repair. Details online.
ScorpionSepticServices.com. I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
You've thought about assisted living for your parents, but maybe the right answer is renovating your home and having mom or dad move in. I'm Richard, Chief Architect at Sketch House, where we create custom architectural drawings for homeowners looking to remodel. Why get drawings first? You'll know what's possible. You'll be able to get pricing and compare builders apples to apples, and builders love drawings. You'll get bumped to the top of their list with drawings in hand. Let Sketchhouse help you make a decision about your aging parents at a fixed price. Visit sketchhouse.com. That's sketch, HAUS.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, fabulous people across the country. I hope you're doing well. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Delighted to have you with me. We got a lot more news out there today, including it's looking more and more likely that Zohran Mamdani is going to get elected mayor of New York in November. And I got to tell you, I'm really, really hoping this happens. I actually like wouldn't want to live in New York City, but I actually like going to New York City and Manhattan. It's actually not a bad place. There are lots of unsafe places in New York, including on the island of Manhattan. But the Central Park area isn't that bad. There are some great restaurants and businesses up there that I like to go see. You know, I'm a cookbook obsessive. I've got a multi-hundred book cookbook collection, and there's a cookbook. There's a store in New York City that is completely cookbooks. There are no other books. It's just, and these are cookbooks that go back hundreds of years. Some of them are quite expensive and very rare to find. And I love browsing the shop on the Upper East Side in Manhattan. And I know what Zohran Mamdani's policies are going to do. I know because I'm a student of history, and I know what happens every time these policies are enacted. And I'm just so excited. I'm so excited to see him win, because I think that the people of New York need to embrace his policies good and hard. I feel bad for the people who are opposed to him and know what's coming. I really do. Many of them will leave if they have the means to leave. But God bless the people of New York. They want to go full commie. Trust fund baby who's never had a real job in his life. This is the perfect opportunity to watch the world capital, and New York kind of is the world's capital, and watch it fall into massive, rapid decline. God bless the people of New York. This real world experience in communism. And of course, you know what they'll say is that, well, we couldn't implement the policies fully because the stinking capitalists. That's what they'll say. All right, I got to tell you about Hillsdale College, because they got a great class on capitalism that maybe we should sign Zohran Mamdani up for. You can take it free of charge yourself. You go to ericforhillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. You sign up with Hillsdale College, and let Hillsdale College educate you on a topic you're interested in. There are 40 classes to choose from. 40. You can take them at no cost to you. You can learn deeply about a subject you're interested in, and every one is a video lecture from a Hillsdale professor. Takes 30 minutes per episode. There are, depending on the class you take, depends on the number of episodes, but each episode 30 minutes. It is they're fully engaging, and you'll actually like them. They're very entertaining. You go to ericforhillsdale.com today. Sign up with Hillsdale College at no charge to you. You'll get a certificate of completion when you're done. You'll find a subject you're interested in, and you will learn so much more. ericforhillsdale.com.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
It's the only way to do any kind of reform of the federal government.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
I don't remember.
Eric Von Hessler. Today at 3.
Who are you speaking for?
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're a different kind of wireless company dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Because let's face it, our needs are different. Big wireless unlimited plans are designed for 20-somethings, not us. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on one thing, bringing you affordable, reliable rate plans that suit your needs, not ours. How do we do that? We start by using the same towers as the big guys, the exact same towers. We then create rate plans designed for your usage. The fact is, we can offer you an unlimited plan with the same network quality for less because we understand how you use wireless services. Our plans start at just $20 a month. And forget trying to chat with robots. You'll get 100% US-based award-winning customer service when you need help. Come find out how wireless should be and join the millions who've made the switch.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Dr. Roof. Police say an arrest has been made in Forest Park today, and it's tied to an alleged armored truck robbery and shooting that happened at a Kroger store on Metropolitan Parkway. Police received word of a stolen vehicle on Frontage Road near Forest Parkway. Officers were able to locate and stop that car. Inside, they found a black duffel bag. It had cash and a 9mm handgun inside. Police say they've arrested Clinton Mayers, who was driving that stolen vehicle. It's not clear at this time how he may have been involved in the incident at the Kroger. We'll bring you more on this as we get it. Your weather for today, partly cloudy, hot and dry, headed for an afternoon high of 87, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes. A Grady Hospital nurse accused of sexually assaulting an elderly patient has had his case bound over now for trial in Fulton County Superior Court. Chapel Lee facing 6 charges, including rape, aggravated sodomy, and evidence tampering. An Atlanta police detective testifying that body cam video shows Eva Lay describing a painful assault in October of 2024 and saying that Lee then cleaned up the evidence before he left her room. The defense points out that police failed to investigate any other male nurses on the floor. A street takeover in Brookhaven and arrests have now been made.
Out the window. Turn the car off.
Brookhaven police say more than 40 cars involved in that incident. It happened on August 31st. Video shows cars blocking Ashford Dunwoody Road. They say that they are working to track down those responsible, and they warn more arrests are expected. The police department also releasing a video and sending out a warning. They say, quote, play in our city and you go to jail. Find someone else to play with. A Marietta Elementary School gets a multi-million-dollar overhaul.
It was a celebration at Sawyer Road Elementary as drama students heralded the start of a new era with song. And school officials cut the ribbon following months of major renovations to the 20-year-old building. Principal Jill Waldrop says she's blown away by the improvements.
To me, it looks brand new, and I feel like the students feel that way too. Like, that's a lot of comments that the students are making.
Over the summer, workers painted walls, replaced HVAC units, and put down new flooring. The renovations cost more than $7 million. In Marietta, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
The U.S. Postal Service just releasing its holiday stamps for the year. The holiday cheer stamps unveiled at the Smithsonian National Postal Museum. There are 4 different designs, and they are being issued in booklets of 20 and are available now. It's 102.
This is Wes Moss from Money Matters. You know, retirement is a lot like football. The best teams don't just show up on game day. They've got great coaches and a smart game plan. Without one, things go off the rails quickly. At Capital Investment Advisors, we would act as your retirement coach, building both the big picture strategy and the detailed plays that aim to help you score the retirement you want. Don't go into retirement with a bad playbook. Visit us at yourwealth.com. That's YOUR wealth.com.
At Kroger Pharmacy, we make it easy to get flu, COVID, and RSV vaccines. They're available at no cost to you with most insurance plans. No appointment needed. And we're open weekdays, weeknights, and weekends. So come and visit us when it's most convenient for you. Kroger Health, a world of care is in store. Vaccines subject to availability. No cost to you with most insurance plans. Check with your plan for eligibility. Restrictions and exclusions may apply. See site for details.
You know the saying, age before beauty? Well, many Atlanta homes built in the 80s and 90s are really showing their age and not so much beauty. Roofs are leaking, windows are drafty, paint is peeling everywhere, and that front door, well, might as well say Y2K, here we come. So many projects, and that means hiring a bunch of contractors, right? Wrong. Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. When you bundle several projects with Exovations, you can save time, money, and coordinate everything all at once for a truly stress-free experience. From the roof shingle at the top to the last drop of paint on the bottom, Exovations does it all. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, decks, gutters, and more. And with Exovations, you know we'll do your project on time, on budget, and without all that stress you usually hear about in construction. Schedule your free consultation today at exovations.com and bring your home into this millennium.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
All right, live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center with a look at your roads.
Still watching this rolling construction on the south side perimeter, Sabrina. 285 eastbound, the outer loop passing Jonesboro Road. They're clearing the drains and the median over there in the left lane, so look out for that crew rolling in the left lane toward Moreland Avenue. Just found a new slow zone in northern Gwinnett County in Buford. 985 southbound bunched up trying to get off at Buford Drive, exit 4. That's because they're doing construction on the left lane of that 985 south exit ramp to Buford Drive, so a few brake lights starting just south of Friendship Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Partly cloudy skies today, high 87, lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds with an isolated pop-up shower or thunderstorm possible, high 86. Partly cloudy skies on Wednesday with highs in the mid-80s.
WSB Storm Tracker radar is clear. It's sunny and 80 degrees in Jefferson. Johns Creek has 81. Here in Midtown Atlanta, we have 83 degrees right now on Peachtree Street. More news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be absolutely delighted to have you with me. Text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. Should you wish to be on the program, I've gotten y'all, the amount of emails and text messages and direct messages and private messages I have gotten in the last hour. Where are my show notes? We sent the show notes. I promise. We sent the show notes. The computer server is having all sorts of issues, and the emails are going out very, very slowly. However, if you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, click on the very top link, and you will be able to go see your precious show notes, and they actually are very precious. You can see them online. I don't know that we're having technical difficulties here. I mean, I can see how many people subscribe to the show notes. It's 70-some-odd thousand people subscribe. And that's a very abstract number until you get 70,000 people all emailing you at once saying, where are my show notes? I'm glad you all read them. I'm glad you do. They're there. I want to talk about the political left right now. This is, I guess you could say, the philosophy segment of the day. There's actually a lot I want to talk about this hour, including how do you fight people who clearly hate you? Because it's very obvious a lot of people on the left hate you and me. I did not have Charlie Kirk's profile. He was an effective campus organizer. He was very well known. I go into markets where I am, and I get recognized on occasion, but he was at a different level. And I honestly, I will tell you guys, I am a Presbyterian. I grew up Southern Baptist. I am Reformed in my outlook. I'm Calvinist. And my philosophy is the Stonewall Jackson philosophy, that I am as safe on the battlefield as I am in my bed until the moment God decides it's my time to go. And of course, several years after he said that, it was his time to go on a battlefield. But that's kind of my view. I don't get worked up about security threats. People in my life do, and they are paid to. And if I die, well, then they all have a financial ruin. And I got a good life insurance policy for my family and the office and all that. But yeah, it's not something I try to, and it's not healthy, I don't think, to dwell on it. Other people do. In fact, my boss this morning called, and he was like, "Oh, we got to talk about security and your security and traveling and all of that." Yeah, I know. But you know what? At the same time, I'll be real honest with you. A lot of the security that has to be paid for has to be paid for by me. And I would rather pay my staff and take care of expenses than pay for security for me, but now they're going to make me do it. So this is all a great way to say, if you text Eric to 33777 and subscribe to the show notes and take the paid option, you'll help me pay for my security. Is that a little crass? Maybe so, but you know what I mean. I look, I'm taking it seriously. I am, but I don't view myself. Ben Shapiro, honestly, is the one that I really worry about. I worry about Ben more than I ever worried about Charlie Kirk. Ben Shapiro, because he's Jewish and conservative, gets all sorts of hate. And I know we were texting this weekend. I know I like Ben very much. He was on Bill Maher on Friday. We were talking about that. Bill Maher show has not had me on in a number of years. I think I'm too boring for him at this point. But Ben was on. He does a great job, and he gets hate from the anti-Semites. He gets hate from the left. He gets hate from the neo-Nazis. He has to pay for security all the time. But what I find on the left is they really take this level of virtuousness to a new level. I want to go back to something I said in the last hour. What happened after Charlie Kirk's assassination was a concerted effort by social media influencers on the left, by reporters, journalists, and news organizations and more, to suggest that Charlie Kirk's assassin was on the right, to suggest that a white nationalist assassinated Charlie Kirk, to suggest essentially that there's no way that anyone on the left could have done this. And the reason they want to is because they can't imagine a lack of virtue on their side. If I could have the attention for just a moment of Mark Thompson, the chairman and CEO of CNN. I have on the background behind it, I'm looking at it right now. Jeff Flake is on CNN right now talking about political violence and how people need to come together. Earlier was Inside Politics. And here's what I noticed from CNN, a network that I like very much. I've been on. Anderson Cooper has had me on a number of times. I have great friendships with the people at CNN. The conversation at CNN when there's right-wing violence is, why is Donald Trump inciting this? And the conversation at CNN when there's left-wing violence is, why is Donald Trump inciting this? CNN is incapable as a network of having an honest conversation about left-wing violence. In the name of being fair and balanced, they want to cover, well, there's right-wing violence and right-wing mean tweets as well. But what I find so notable about the coverage of CNN, Mr. Thompson, is that when there's right-wing violence, you're perfectly willing to ignore all evidence of there ever being any left-wing violence. So you're not willing to hold the left accountable. I know because I have regularly gone on CNN over the last number of years and been the Republican who comes on to say, no, Donald Trump shouldn't have said that, or I wish the Republicans would tone down their rhetoric. They don't have people from the left on to do the same thing about the left. We have in this situation a left-wing progressive radicalized online who went down left-wing rabbit holes, including relating to transgenderism, who decided to assassinate someone because of their political views. And the conversation at CNN is, well, both sides do it. Both sides got to cut it out. But there's never actually any accountability for people on the left like there is on the right at CNN. And I single out CNN because I don't expect this from MSNBC because they are a bunch of progressive radicals. At CNN, though, they try to claim that they're mainstream. They try to claim they're middle of the road. At CNN, they do this apple banana BS about how truth-telling they are. They're not truth-telling. CNN as well is on the left. They are a network that claims to be fair and balanced and middle of the road, and yet you can see in the coverage of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, they have no willingness to call out people on the left for their behaviors. They want to both sides it so they can't get attacked by the left, because at CNN, the worst possible thing is to be shunned by their progressive friends. So you don't have people calling out Chris Murphy, the senator from Connecticut, who is yet again talking about how the right is destabilizing the country with their rhetoric, when literally the day before Charlie Kirk's assassination, it is Chris Murphy who told Democrats you're at war and must get comfortable doing things you otherwise would not do. I suggest that he meant murder. He can deny that if he wants, but he hasn't said anything about that statement. Democrats, you're at war. You must get comfortable doing things you otherwise would not do. Killing people on the other side is something that you get comfortable doing when you're at war, from what I'm told. And Chris Murphy says they're at war and must get comfortable doing things they otherwise would not do. If Donald Trump said that, CNN would be wall-to-wall coverage with people on there denouncing Donald Trump. Where the hell are the people denouncing the Democrats for their rhetoric, other than both sides do it? Let's focus on Mike Lee's mean tweet and see. What does Mike Lee's tweet have to do with killing Charlie Kirk? The left wants to view themselves as virtuous at all times, and CNN plays into that by covering this the way they're covering. I'm not telling them not to cover both sides. I think they should. But I am telling them that I know, and Mark Thompson, I've seen this for myself as a former employee of your network, that when right-wing violence happens, don't talk about the left. It's all about how the right must be held accountable. And when it's left-wing violence, don't talk about it. Talk about how both sides do it, and the right probably inspired it. And the fact that the people at CNN, the anchors at CNN, the producers at CNN, the editors at CNN, the leadership of CNN is not willing to acknowledge that bias and double standard. And Mark Thompson, if you don't believe me, you can go to LexisNexis yourself and do what I did. You are far more likely at CNN to have the word far, F-A-R, put in front of the word right than left. You are far more likely to have the word controversial used to describe a Republican's policies than a Democrat's policies. Those are editorial choices made within CNN, a network that claims to be middle of the road, fair and balanced, straight and narrow and honest, and yet the editorial opinions and decisions at that network contribute to the violence we're seeing from the left, because CNN's editorial position overall is that the left's poop does not stink, and if it stinks, it's Donald Trump's fault. So where does the left go to have any accountability for left-wing violence? There's only Fox News, and they won't go to Fox News. So the entire media echo chamber, including you people at CNN, is designed to protect the left from ever having to acknowledge you have festering violence on the left. When you have the anti-Semitism covered on college campuses, it's never tied to the progressives. When you have the